I think we've come to accept that Deandre Ayton is a Laker and that the Lakers signed him, getting him off the buyout market via the Portland Trail Blazers. But I'm not sure we realize and not sure we fully appreciate how big of a steal and bargain they got him for. I mean, signing a player of his caliber, the player that he can be, for a 2-year, $16.2 million contract is an absolute bargain in my opinion. I mean, not only that, but compared to the other free agents that got more money than he did, guys that aren't as productive as him, don't have the ceiling that he has, aren't as good of a fit for the Lakers team compared to him, I think it was an absolute bargain and probably one of, if not the biggest steal of all of free agency. And well, beginning by simply comparing him to what other free agents got and how that's compared to his salary next season, at this current moment and at this current point in free agency, right now his salary for next season currently happens to be in between Kevon Looney and Brook Lopez, not to mention a 37-year-old Brook Lopez and a Kevon Looney that averaged only about 4 points per game last season, 6 rebounds per game, shooting 41% from the field, not even being near the productivity level of a Deandre Ayton in my opinion, a guy that's older than Deandre Ayton, again with Lopez also being significantly older than Ayton, being 37 compared to Ayton being 26, or rather 27 now. I think that's a massive difference and really shows you about the value that the Lakers got with Deandre Ayton. I mean, even apart from those two, comparing him to a guy like, Duncan Robinson for example, he's making double of what Deandre Ayton is next season. A guy that's not as productive as Ayton in my opinion, a guy that's older than Deandre Ayton, and yet he's making double the amount nearly that Deandre Ayton is set to make next season. Though even beyond that, the fact that they got a productive 27-year-old center that directly filled a gigantic need for their team. I mean, it's been a gigantic need for their team following the trade deadline last season, where they traded Anthony Davis for obviously Luka Doncic, but that left them with a gigantic hole at the center position, therefore becoming their biggest need by far, temporarily filled by Jackson Hayes, but obviously it wasn't up to par and couldn't quite fill it by himself. Now him becoming their backup, which is a much better spot for him, and Deandre Ayton taking over their starting center spot, which he has definitely been proven to be able to fill. I mean, yes, not coming off the greatest season of his NBA career, averaging roughly 14 and 10 per game, which would actually be a pretty damn good year for other players, but not compared to what he did back in Phoenix, for example, his best season coming in 2019-2020. I guess from a numbers standpoint anyway, I'd argue that his 2021-22 NBA season was more productive, both during the regular season and arguably the postseason with them too. And not only that, but not to mention it was a contract year for him that year, conveniently, once again being a contract year for him again, at least potentially if he wouldn't opt into that player option, and I really don't expect him to. So if we compare that to now this season and what he did that year, again in a contract year, putting up 17.2 points per game, 10.2 rebounds per game, shooting 63.4% from the field, a career high for himself, and that did in fact carry over into the postseason, that year averaging 17.9 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, shooting 64% from the field, which is incredibly efficient in the postseason. All of that throughout that season and again coming in a contract year for him. I think that does and likely will correlate to him having a great, efficient, and productive year for the Lakers once again this season. And no, I'm not saying that he's going to replicate those numbers. I don't think there's really room for him to average 17.2 points per game with this team anyway. I mean, falling behind guys like Luka Doncic, LeBron James, even Austin Reeves in their pecking order, possibly even Rui Hachimura at times too. I don't really care about it from a numbers standpoint. That's not the proper way to gauge a player's value in my opinion anyways, at least not for a wide majority of players. I care more about the actual efficiency. I care more about the defense and the commitment to both ends of the court, simply trying to be the best possible role player and being a star in his own role. That's what I care more about and the proper way to gauge Deandre Ayton this season. And again, I do believe that he will be able to show that and will be able to fill that role for their team, whether that's simply being the perfect pick and roll partner for LeBron James and Luka Doncic. I think that'll be a massive upgrade for their team. No, he might not be the athletic freak that Jackson Hayes is, but also is a very good lob threat, also has better pick and roll timing than Jackson Hayes in my opinion, is a better finisher around the rim compared to Hayes. Not only that, but actually can extend his range a little bit, out to roughly 15 to 18 feet, has a very good mid-range shot, and that's another valuable weapon in their offense. Can kind of pick and pop with Luka Doncic and LeBron, or at least not a complete pick and roll and diving completely to the rim. That's another way for them to attack drop coverage, trying to bring out a guy like Rudy Gobert, for example, a guy they often match up with and a guy that was part of their final playoff matchup from last season, bring him further away from the rim and therefore opening up more of a lane for guys like LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, so on and so forth, allowing them to get easier toward the rim, and that's something that Deandre Ayton will help them with. That's a skill set they didn't really have from last season. Adding that to their offense and now to their team in general will be a valuable addition to their rotation, and again, with the game plan they like to operate, the things they can do within that game plan, I think they'll help them out. Not only that, but simply the combination of talent and skills that Deandre Ayton can offer them, I think that will be a much better thing compared to what they had last season, and for anyone else they could have gotten for that price too. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.